Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
They're really good people, and the chemistry's great, very coachable. They work hard.
Shelstad left wing three. Yes, sir! VanSlooten, what a catch and a finish, plus the foul.
The guys are playing hard, and guys found a way, so it's a big part of any season, just finding a way.
Pass underneath to Couisnard, he's fouled and one. Gray wants another three, are you kidding?
So let's go have some fun. Let's play loose and see what happens.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Duck basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. We've got Chris Clayton talking with Kelly Graves coming up. Also, Grace VanSlooten and I talked with Dana Altman as well as Germaine Couisnard a little bit earlier today. That's all on Tip-Off Tuesday as we welcome you into the Country Financial Studio. Terry Johns is still recovering from a medical situation. We hope to have him back with us, but until then, Chris Clayton will be filling in with us on Tip-Off Tuesday as he has been on the call with Bev Smith all season long, and my thanks to Chris for doing so. Men's basketball sitting at 11-3, 4-0 in Pac-12 play. The first time since the Final Four team that the Ducks are sitting at that mark in Pac-12 play. And they're coming off a weekend where they won 2 games in the state of Washington. Ducks winning some close ones. Women's basketball 9-7, 0-3 in conference play after a gauntlet to start the schedule. Coming off a couple games, though, where they really pushed the ranked Los Angeles schools. So that's where the Ducks sit. On today's show, Dana Altman, Kelly Graves, Jermaine Couisnard, and Grace VanSlooten. And truthfully, normally I spend a little more time in our broadcast open telling you about the programs, but we had a lot of fun talking with Dana Altman and Kelly Graves, and I want to get straight to the interviews, so we're going to do that. Stick with us. It's Tip-Off Tuesday presented by Toyota. Dana Altman with us next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has taken its flavor to the next level. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's our first Tip-Off Tuesday presented by Toyota. Joey Mack joined by Oregon men's basketball head coach Dana Altman. Coach, coming off a successful start to conference play. Start generally for us. Review the season so far to this point. What have you seen from your team with some ups and downs throughout the year?
Yeah, it's been an interesting November, December, early January. Fighting some injuries, which have slowed our progress a little bit. But overall, the guys have worked really hard. Been very coachable, been fun to work with. He had a disappointing couple neutral games, didn't play well in Florida, shot the ball okay, just didn't guard anybody. Syracuse had a lot of turnovers in South Dakota that really hurt us, but got off to a good start against Georgia. Dante dominated that game, and then Nate played well the next couple and broke his wrist, and then we had to play small, and the guys have worked really hard, and we've won some close games here, starting to shoot free throws a little better. We started off not shooting free throws very well, but we're shooting them a little better now, and kind of held on to a few games. You touched on winning in neutral site and close games, Coach. How big of a deal was it this past weekend to win those road games? It's always tough to get wins on the road. Yeah, no, road games are tough. We've been, in our years here, been the second best road team in the conference, and I told our guys that we let it slip here the last couple of years, not playing as well on the road as we have in previous years, and so our guys, I thought did what they had to do. They hit free throws down the stretch, got a couple big stops, a couple big rebounds, and those games, a lot of them can go either way, and they usually determine the season. If you look over almost any year, you see how many, 2-3 possession games there are. Yeah. And makes a big difference. Well, and you're 7-1 now, Coach, in the last 8 that have been decided by 5 points or less. So that's got to give some confidence to a team in close games. Well, I hope so. I hope they feel like they can make a play. So many people always put it on the offensive end, but making a defensive play, a defensive stop, has just as much relevance, and we've been able to do that. We've gotten a couple defensive stops in the Michigan game and other games that have enabled us to finish them out. I did want to get into some of the individuals with you because it's the first time we're talking here on the Coaches Show, Coach. Let's start with Jermaine Couisnard. Had that game-sealing layup against Washington, and we were talking post-game that he's made a huge difference for your squad this year. Yeah, he has. We're just a better team with him on the floor. Defensively, our numbers go way up. Offensively, the ball movement's better. We have a better purpose. We ran that last play. It was, just he could take it over the ball screen. He declined it. He had the cleared side and got all the way to the basket. So, it was kind of, do I want to take the ball screen? He turned the ball screen down and got to the rim. But Jermaine's, about this time a year ago, he was joining us. Right. He was coming off a knee injury and surgery, and got a late start, and was kind of up and down last year because of that, conditioning-wise, and he was just out 4 months. It's hard to bounce back, but he's done a great job this year. And we just got to keep him healthy and keep him going. His leadership, he's really trying to lead. The freshmen and that, he's talking to them and trying to get them to compete and stay with it. And that's what a fifth-year senior should do. Right. That's what you hope those guys who have been there, done that, can give you. And to that point, Coach, leading, I know it's different for everybody, but it feels to me like he's really embraced it, did you talk to him about that? Is that just kind of he's recognized it? I don't know. It's a big deal, though. Jermaine and Dante were going to be the leaders. When Dante, went down, kind of got all thrust on to Jermaine, and I think he's done a wonderful job with it. He's embraced it. He's, tried to talk to everybody, comes into huddles, re-emphasizing what the coaches are saying. So, no, I've got no complaints with him. He brings it every day to practice. He's got a great attitude. he's been a good leader for us.
Going through some of the other individuals, let's maybe go to Brennan Rigsby, Coach. He's hitting 48% from three right now. Just an impressive shooting performance from Brennan, another guy that dealt with injury last year but has been a big boost for you this season.
Yeah, he has bounced back, sprained his ankle I don't know how many times last year. He just had ankle problems all year and really struggled with it in and out of the lineup all year. But he's been a consistent shooter for us. I'd like to get him a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end. I don't think he's using his athleticism there nearly enough. But the guys are making some shots for him. He's knocking them down. And, you know, at 40, he is 48%. We got to get him some more shots. You know, got to find some ways to get him some more looks. But, no, he's made a big jump. And like I said, if we could get him going defensively, you know, I think he could really, you know, make some strides here this year and obviously next year.
Going down the list, too, Jackson Shellstad really has settled into a role in that starting lineup for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a good job. He banged up his knee there a little bit and was out 3 or 4 weeks and slowed him down a little bit. But when he came back, he was anxious to play and you know, has hit some big shots for us. Takes a few possessions off defensively, which I got to get on him a little bit about. But other than that, don't have to say anything to him. He's playing hard, you know, making some shots, making some plays for others, starting to get a feel for our offense, you know, and what we want out of every look. And so he's making big strides.
KJ Evans, too, continuing in the starting lineup. We've talked about how he's had some big-time games for you, both offensively, defensively.
He's made a big adjustment on his physicality. You know, during the summer and early fall, he just wasn't playing physical enough. And, you know, when the big guys went out, you know, and he had to go in, he's done a good job. He's fought it a little bit. You know, still needs to get stronger. I think when he gets a little bit more strength, you're really going to see an explosion on his game. His instincts are good. His skill level's good. He just needs strength. He's young, and I think getting in that weight room, getting stronger, I think he'll make a big jump.
Mo Diawara, I know we've talked before about he just works his tail off for you, doesn't he?
He sure does. He, you know, with Nate and Dante out, Mo saved us. So, no, he's been a great teammate. Does what he can. You know, a little foul prone. He reaches a little bit, but we need his aggressiveness. We need him on the boards. He finishes plays. He hits free throws. No, he's been a savior for us with those two guys out.
Now to the bench, how about Jadrian Bam Tracy, Coach? A guy that is versatile for you, has played some different positions for you at times.
Well, he's had to. You know, with our lack of size, you know, he's kind of moved into a power forward spot, and when we go small, he's done a good job there. He tries to guard bigger guys. He's been successful a number of games. Other times he's struggled, but in a lot of games he's given up, you know, 4 or 5 inches, you know, height, and he's really got a front and try to beat him with quickness. But no, he's done a good job. He's hit threes. He's right at 39% from three. So I like the progress he's making, and again, just a little better feel for our offense. Cut down some of the turnovers. He's making some good plays, but he's offsetting that with a few ones that I think he'd want back.
You know, you talk about the threes there just for a moment, Coach, departing from the individuals. The three-pointer's been a weapon for you in some games this season, guys that are hitting at a higher percentage.
Well, you know, we've got 3 guys over 40, and then Bam at 39. So Carrio's over 40. You mentioned Rigsby and then Jackson. So we've got 3 guys over 40 and Bam at 39, and we got to get KJ up a little bit, but Jermaine's at 32, 33. So yeah, as a team, I think we're shooting them better. You know, we want to be aggressive from the 3. Hopefully, you know, we get Dante and or Nate back here, and we can throw it inside a little bit more than what we have been. But I sure like those guys when they got an open one and on balance to let it go.
You mentioned Carrio Quindo off the bench. What a burst to the basket for you, too. He's hitting shots, and I feel like he's a real energy player for you off the bench at times.
He's given us a big boost offensively. I'm on him a little bit, covering some people. I tell him when he gets one and gives one up, that's, is a wash. We need him to get a few stops, but he's working on it. I like working with Cario. I just, offensively, he's got so much confidence, which is great. We need that spark off the bench. Just got to get him to use that athleticism on the defensive end and on the boards. He's a really good athlete, very explosive, good body, powerful, but we're just not using that enough on the defensive end and on the boards. And if he gets that figured out, he's going to make a big jump as a player and just his purpose in a game. And I think he's close. I think he wants to do it. He made a couple good defensive plays against Washington State. Fell asleep on a big one, but has done some really good things offensively, starting to do some better things defensively.
And lastly, Keyshawn Barthelemy, a lot of experience in the backcourt for him off the bench.
Yeah, when he comes in, he's a stabilizer for us. Gets some ball movement. He'll start shooting it better. Just got to get comfortable. But no, and defensively, you got to use that quickness. And when he does, he's a pain. He can get after some people.
Saw the debut of Mookie Cook, too. Glad to have him out there making his debut.
Yes, he did a good job against Washington. Really gave us a big boost in his 6 or 7 minutes in both games. Played hard. When that ankle fully heals and he gets in shape, people will see his athleticism. No, he's going to give us a boost off the bench, no doubt.
I know every fan wants me to ask if you have any updates on N'Faly Dante and Nate Biddle. You mentioned that you hope to have them back, Coach. Fans I know want to see them back out there. I know they're excited too.
Absolutely. They're doing a lot of dry work, conditioning work. Dante's knee seems to be holding up well with the conditioning and the dry work. We'll try to get him into some live stuff here shortly as soon as they release him. Same way with Nate. Nate's injury being a wrist, he's been able to run and do some things that Dante couldn't do. But, both of them want to get back, and we need them. We need that size. It's hard having 14 feet of players on the sideline,
That's a good way to put it.
We'd like to get them back.
14. I'm going to borrow that from you if it's all right on the broadcast.
I'm not sure who brought that up. I stole it from somebody, but they looked over at the bench and said, "That's pretty tough having 2 7-footers sitting over there, 14 feet of non-production on the bench." So.
Puts it in context a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Lastly, Coach, I'll leave you with this. Just a little extra practice time this week with no Thursday game, getting ready for Cal. Some of your keys to success, what do you want to work on here?
Well, defensively, we'll be working a lot. In the national thing, our offense is right around the top 30, which, you like that. Our better teams, offensively, we've been in that range. Defensively, our numbers aren't good enough, to be the elite or the better team that we want to be. So we're going to spend a lot of time this week defensively, trying to get some things hammered out, trying to get some guys to put a little bit more emphasis on it. We because of the media, because of girlfriends, everybody, points, offense. And
that's true.
They don't listen to old coach. I'm about 8th on the list. When you start, they got girlfriends, parents, agents, AAU coaches, high school coaches. Somewhere down the line, we got to get them focused on defense. Like I said, the guys are working. They want to have a good team. And the thing, they've been unselfish. They really do care about each other. Everybody wants to play 30 minutes a game, 35, but it's just not going to happen. And, we, in our conference, when you have the Thursday, Saturday games, I think this conference, more than some, depth is very important.
Yeah.
Because you got to bounce back in a day. So having good depth and getting everybody healthy is going to be important. And keeping everybody unselfish is going to be a big factor.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. We'll look forward to catching up with you pregame coming up against Cal, and hope for a great crowd. I know that can really boost you to a 5.
The crowd's been great and really have given us a big lift. The Michigan game and UCLA, USC. I know the players appreciate it. It's just makes a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
The building's great and the facilities are great, and when you get good crowd, it's makes game day a lot more fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Coach Altman, thanks for the time. We're going to get time out on Tip-Off Tuesday. When we come back, Kelly Graves, Oregon women's basketball head coach, joining us after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a Duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota in the Country Financial Studio. Just heard from Coach Altman. Switching gears to women's basketball before we talk with Jermaine Couisnard and Grace VanSlooten. Chris Clayton sat down with women's basketball head coach Kelly Graves ahead of their homestand this weekend.
And we're lucky enough now to be joined by Ducks head coach Kelly Graves. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, well, good being here, and welcome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Your first show.
That's right. You got back late last night.
Yeah.
Well, coming up on 2 a.m. from the trip, so we appreciate you coming in here to talk with us today.
No problem. The voice might not be totally there yet, but yeah, no worries.
So you had the trip to Los Angeles, a couple of terrific opponents at number 2 UCLA and number 9 USC. What stood out to you about those two games?
Well, it's funny. The schedule makers didn't do us a real favor to start the season. So 3 games on the road, including one up in Oregon State last week. Those 3 teams combined were 33-0, I think.
They've only beat each other.
They've only beaten each other, yeah. So it's it was tough. And this L.A. trip, I'm obviously not very pleased that we lost both games. I think even at full strength right now, they would have been difficult games for us anyway. But, for the most part, I thought we competed. I thought we got better. I thought Sunday we played much better than we did on Friday. And, our team's attitudes are great. And so from that standpoint, I was pleased. We obviously have a long way to go. We're not where those teams are right now, but we continue to improve, which is all I can ask for. And there's going to come a time, and hopefully, the next time we play them, but starting this week, that we're going to be in a position to compete and win games. It was one of those weekends we were just kind of outmatched, I think, in a lot of ways.
And you mentioned the mentality of the team, and maybe your record's not exactly where you'd like it to be, but it seems like the confidence is not really wavering. I mean, you didn't have Chance Gray in the UCLA game, but USC, you're right there and you're battling, and if anything, they've only ramped up their effort level.
Yeah, we got killed Friday night on the boards. I think they had 28 second chance points, which is, just outrageous. And they had 21 offensive rebounds. UCLA did. And we completely turned that around. We rebounded so much better on Sunday against USC. They only had 3 offensive rebounds to the tune of 4 second-chance points. An area we really wanted to focus on and get better at, and we did. So to me, those are the little things that I look for. You know, are we trying to take care of the things that we're not as good at? And so that is what I'm talking about when I say we're improving. It did not help at UCLA that we didn't have chance. They're the kind of team that puts a lot of pressure on the basketball, and that hurt us. You know, we gave up, I think, 13 or 14 points off turnovers. Well, we didn't have our primary ball handler with us, and we just don't have a deep backcourt anyway, you know, once Peyton Scott went out. So, you know, we were at a huge disadvantage, but I think even still our kids competed. I thought that could have been a lot worse. So I was proud of us in that regard. But, it was a tough weekend, you know, and right now we're just not as good as those teams. I'm not saying we can't be later, but, you know, for this weekend anyway.
You play at USC and have a 21-point third quarter. I mean, the offense really came alive, and it's shown glimpses this year, but what kind of steps forward have you seen the offense take this year?
Yeah, well, you know, when we have good quarters, it's not necessarily because we're doing this or that differently. We just make baskets. I think our biggest struggle this year, you know, defensively, we've been on point. I look at the UCLA game. You know, they're a team that averages 95 points a game, you know, and they're, in my opinion, the best team in the country. I've seen South Carolina several times on TV, and now we've played UCLA. I think they're the best, most complete team in the country. Well, they averaged 95 a game. We held them to 75 on their home floor, 20 points below their average. They typically shoot 50% from the field. And look at who they've played. It's not like they're playing a bunch of patsies. They've played a really difficult schedule, and we held them to 40%. You know, so those are little things. As a coach, I'm trying to, you know, encourage our team, say, hey, we can do this. So I thought defensively we were on point both games. It was the rebounds against and second chance points against UCLA. But like you said, those little things. We had a good scoring quarter here and one there and, did some good stuff. But for us, it came down to, on those quarters, those halves, we shot the ball well. And that's just been we just struggle to score. You know, we don't have just really true dead eyes, you know, from the perimeter. We have some inconsistent scoring inside. And, you know, so if everything's clicking, then, yeah, we can be a formidable team. But we just haven't found that formula for 40 minutes yet.
And I wanted to ask you about the defense. And it's kept you in games. It's won you games this year. You've got a unique starting five with the 6'8" Che, Philly Che, and the 6'7" Kennedy Basham. Obviously, in basketball, it's nice to be tall, right? You can block shots. You can rebound. Do you think maybe there's even a mental edge, an intimidation factor when the opponent takes the floor and sees these tall furs on the floor?
Well, when you look at the team and you look how you want to attack and what kind of philosophy you want in a given team, you look at what your strengths are. And that's one of our strengths. We're longer than other teams, so we're able to challenge at the rim. You know, it can also be a hindrance too. I mean, and we've seen that in a couple of our earlier games where we just got killed by teams that were guard-oriented and three-point oriented. You can't go big. You can't chase them around in man-to-man. So we've played a lot more zone. Exclusively this weekend, we played all 2-3 zone and try to keep it as packed as we can and just challenge people on shots. You know, make contested twos, and then hopefully limit them to one shot. That's one of the downfalls of a zone. It's hard to block out and rebound out of a zone because you're not responsible for a person, my player. And so it's just, what we've decided to do and use that length to have Kennedy, Philly, and then Grace start along that back line, yes, can be formidable. And we've shown, flashes that, yeah, we can be a pretty good defensive team.
And Philly Che's been one of the most consistent players scoring the ball this year as well. Just looking at the course of her career, she starts about 4 points per game as a freshman, up to 7 last year. She's almost doubled that this year. And she's in games been a force. She's drawing double and triple teams. How have you seen her grow as a scorer in her career?
Yeah, I thought first quarter against USC, she was fantastic.
Yeah, 4 for 4 with 8 points.
And the last 3 quarters against UCLA, she, in my opinion, outplayed Lauren Betts, arguably the best center in the country. So, she just keeps getting better. I know people get frustrated that she doesn't always make the easy ones, the gimmies inside, but, she hasn't played a lot of basketball. She doesn't have a long history, so she's still working her way through it. now she's seeing double teams almost every game. That's not easy. People think, oh, well, just do this out of the double team. Okay, why don't you try it?
All right.
And she's getting better at it. Like yesterday, they started double teaming her because they couldn't handle her one-on-one. She ends up with 5 assists. Mm-hmm. She led us in assists yesterday. So, good on her. I mean, she is really improving, and she's putting her name out there now as one of those centers in the country that people are recognizing, going, hey, she's got pro potential, and she's somebody that we should keep an eye on. To me, her biggest improvement this year has just been mentally. She would put limits on herself the first couple of years. I can't play more than 3 minutes at a time. Well, now she's playing full quarters at a time at a high pace. So I'm just really happy for her, and I'd love seeing her improvement every day.
When you think about who she's had to face, too, Reagan Beers for Oregon State, and then Lauren Betts for UCLA, and then Rhea Marshall, just in the first 3 games.
3 all-conference players, 3 of the top 10 centers in the nation.
Yes.
And I don't know her all her numbers combined. I know Oregon State, she struggled a little bit. She's playing them even.
Yeah, I think offhand she averaged about 12 points per game in those 3 games against the best of the nation.
Yeah, so good on her. Good on her.
And now, just for the team as a whole, this schedule has been a gauntlet. Oregon State, UCLA, and USC didn't come away with wins, but how do you think it can help the team to test against the best in the country?
Well, it's good and bad, obviously. I mean, it gives us opportunities to get quality wins. When you play good teams, it gives you it's a challenge, obviously, but it gives you an opportunity to get better individually and as a team. You can improve because you have to play better against those kind of teams. You don't play down to the competition. I looked at our 18-game schedule this year. 10 of the 18 games will be against teams that are in the top 10.
Yeah.
So more than half the schedule against teams in the top 10 is crazy.
Ludicrous.
Crazy. And, and we've already played a couple of those. And I come away encouraged. So, yeah, and even this weekend, the Arizonas, they might not be ranked or anything, but they're still really good. I think that's why the Pac-12 is the best conference in the country. It's not just because there's quality at the top. I think the depth. I mean, look at Washington. They were picked 9th or 10th in the conference, and they were undefeated in preseason play and cracked the top 25. Mm-hmm. Oregon State was picked, I think, 11th or 10th, and they are undefeated, outside of the 2 LA games and getting votes. Cal was picked 11th or 12th, and they just swept the Washington schools. And they've won like 13 games or 12 games already. So it's the depth of the conference. There is no gimme. And so that's why it's going to be a crazy next 2 months.
And then for this weekend with Arizona, they almost beat Colorado, who's 5th in the country. Then they did beat Utah, part of that weekend series with ASU and Arizona. So nice to be at home, but there's no gimmies in the Pac-12.
There's no gimmies. Absolutely no gimmies. And but I think this weekend is really important. I would encourage our fans to really come out and keep this, Matthew Knight Arena a home court advantage. We need you. This is a big weekend. This is the only time of the year that we get to play the Arizonas. We don't make the trip to the desert. And so, we need to get ourselves back in a winning way, I think, just for our own psyches. And I think our fans are a big part of that. Now, hopefully they don't give up on us. I know they don't because, they're true blue Duck fans. This isn't our best team that we've had. I'll be the first to admit, and I think people who watch realize that. But they're still playing hard, and they're still playing together. They're playing the right way, and I'm convinced that some wins are coming our way, and hopefully that starts this week.
Yep, finally at home for the first time in about 3 weeks. So
it's been a while, right? December 16th.
Yeah,
it'll almost be an entire month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so that'll be nice. So we're looking forward to that, and also it's nice to have Tip-Off Tuesday back. So we're looking forward to talking to you every Tuesday.
Yeah. And you know what? I miss the Caz. For those that don't know, this is kind of the athletic department hub where this studio is. And we have since now for the last 3 years been on the other side and in the arena. So I don't get to see you guys.
Yeah. The neighbors.
I was going to say your ugly faces, but you're both beautiful. You're beautiful faces. And, and a shout-out to Terry. Mm-hmm. We wish him the best and, and just really good health. We miss him. But, Chris, from what everybody is saying, you have just filled in incredibly well.
Thank you.
And so we appreciate you being part of our team.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah. Best wishes with Terry, and I appreciate having the opportunity.
Yeah. We love you, Terry. We do.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Echoing those sentiments. We love you, Terry. That's Coach Graves talking with Chris Clayton. Quick timeout when we come back. My conversation with Germaine Couisnard, back to the men's side on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Look, we totally get it. You'd rather not be listening to an ad right now. But if you have to, a mini ad is better. Maybe even a Pepsi mini ad. Still all the flavor of the full-size thing, just minier. The way ads should be. Like this one. Pepsi Minis. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back on Tip Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Joey Mack and Germaine Couisnard is here in the Country Financial Studio. Germaine, how are you?
How you doing, man? So
we were just talking before we got rolling that this is your first time in the studio, so that means that you also have never told your 2-minute life story. So we have a tradition, okay? Yeah. So I'm going to prep you a little bit. We have a tradition. We have a leaderboard. I don't know if you saw when you walked in. There's actually on that whiteboard the closest that everybody's ever gotten to 2 minutes. This is a competition. I've noticed that basketball players tend to be the best at this because you've always got the shot clock on your mind.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get as close to 2 minutes as possible, and it's your story. You tell everybody the life story of Germaine Couisnard. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 2-minute life story, Germaine Couisnard, go.
What do you want to say? I'm Germaine. I'm from East Chicago, Indiana. I grew up in a small area in East Chicago. One really big that was torn down in like 2017. It's just a cool place to grow up in. Just that's why I'm close with all my friends at, and just that's what I'm known for being from, and just that's what made me the person I am today, and just how like the courage I have and the ego, everything that you could say above all the above, man. Just it's cool. It's a cool place about me. I'm a cool guy, chill. Don't like really talking. Like I was just telling somebody this. Like I got 2 different personalities. Like on the court, I'm a different person, but off the court, I'm just chill. I don't really like talking to people. I don't really talk at all. So, but yeah, that's some things about me for sure.
So the first guy that we have on Tip Off Tuesday is the one that doesn't like to talk. Good job by the broadcaster.
Nah, it's not. I talk to like like anything I gotta do with basketball and stuff like.
You know, though, I was going to ask you about that, actually. Like, you're such a competitor on the floor, and everybody sees that. But then off the floor, I've noticed that, too. You're very calm. You're collected. Yeah. Where's the switch? Like, does the switch flip right when the ball's tipped? Like, what triggers it for you?
It's the adrenaline. My adrenaline just rush. Like, soon. It's something I always, like, had since I was younger. Like, I don't know. Like, I always played against older people. So it's feel like every time I come on the court, I feel like I gotta have a chip on my shoulder. I feel like somebody gonna punk me. Like that's how I was growing up. Like I played with everybody that was older than me.
Really?
So it's like I'm the youngest person. So of course it's like that's just like on the court. If we playing, we see a young freshman that don't really know on the court. That's who we gonna attack. Or that was my mentality. Now that I got older, I kind of know like I see why that people do that. But that's how I learned that like the competitiveness like. It don't matter how old you is, like that's, like I'm gonna get after you for sure.
And now you're the old guy though out there on the floor, you know. So what's that been like in your career? I mean, what was 18-year-old as a player, Germaine Couisnard, like compared to now when you're out there on the floor?
I didn't know anything like how hard you had. I didn't know anything. I was just thinking like just going to play. All I know about is hoop. I like hooping. I go play anywhere. Yeah. I don't outside go play basketball, but it was just like. It was different. It's like a difference. Like you don't know how to work when you're in college. Like I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know how my routine. I didn't know any of that. Like so that was like as me growing and growing. Like through the trials, through the bumps of the road, through my career. That's how I learned. I started learning like what keep me going, and then I see like what get me going. So
what advice, if you had the chance to give like your 17-year-old self advice, what would it be? Sounds like maybe it's that.
Yeah, that was definitely it, man. I was just really take care of your body. Your body, the money maker. That's what make everything goes. Like really listen to your mind. Like it was times where when I was younger, I try to play through like crazy injury and just make it worse. But that wasn't a good thing to do. But that was just my mentality because I feel like some people, like what they all do, like I'm in a joke with me, but people be like, that's soft.
Right.
But it was like it was just like something that was like, even if it was just a little ankle, like, but that just like can cause deep.
It leads to it.
It leads to it. Yeah, right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a wise take though, right? Yeah. I mean, after you've been through a few of them. Now, I mean, it makes sense. All right, I want to talk with you a little bit about what's happened on the floor so far this year. Starting out 4-0 in Pac-12 play, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. So you always see me sitting courtside next to the bench. I've got the headset on. So I just want you to know that I have a lot of fun at your expense on the broadcast. What I mean by that is when plays like this happen, so Knight's going to cue it up for you.
All right.
So you've seen the video, I know, of the game winner that you had against Washington.
Yeah,
so
I didn't have it like the commentators, but I'll see the video.
Clock 9 to shoot. Evans comes to set the screen. Couisnard attacks. One-on-one. He lays it in and scores. What'd you think?
That's dope.
How'd I do?
Yeah, you good. You did good.
Thank you. So we were talking with Coach. Okay, so Jermaine, we were talking with Coach just a second ago that you actually declined the ball screen and had that isolation on the other side. Like, so take us through a play like that. Like, that's a veteran move to realize, okay, I've got what I want, and I don't even need to use my ball screen.
Yeah. I ain't gonna tell because I don't know who's watching this, but
fair enough. All right.
But no, it was a play call. It was a play call. Like as you see, I was telling Jackson to wait until the time because Coach was telling me like the time to go.
Right.
So I was waiting till Jackson clear out. So he go because of course they're gonna chase him shooting the heck of the ball.
Right.
So of course they're gonna like keep eye. Like that's the same play we ran against Michigan, and that anybody know but Michigan was in the zone.
Right.
So that was the same kind of play that we ran. So and it was just like I seen the opening that I had, and then people like. As the games, these two games that we play, I just been hearing them go like force them left.
Right.
Well, which I like going to the left, even though I'm right-handed. I like going to the left side. So it was kind of easy for me to like see it. Like, once he cleared out, I seen like the opening that I had.
Like I'm always amazed at how fast you have to make a decision, right? And then you have to go with it. And there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. Scouting reports.
For sure,
I mean,
for sure. And that's the thing. That's what we're going back from when you were saying when I was 18. I didn't know that. I was just going out there to play. I didn't think scouting report was important. I just thought that our scouting report is just how the team look, what they go through. But it's key. Once you play, if you cut down like their tendencies on defense and really like go with your game plan, I feel like you like not like I ain't gonna say 90%, but half of the time you'll win the game if you live following your scouting report. Yeah.
I know that you've also been such a great leader for the team this year, Jermaine. Coach was just talking about how you've really embraced being a leader. Did that come natural to you? Is that hard for you? I mean, how you go about doing that?
One thing I don't like. One thing like I kind of hate like about the part is like I don't like telling people what to do. So it's like it's kind of like because I'm coachable. Like I can take like anybody yelling at me, like it depends like how like I can take that. But it's like if it's coming from me, I just feel like some people never like had their teammates yelling at them and feel like it's a bad thing. But I think it was just me learning how to talk to people, and just seeing it from their like putting the confidence in them on just instead of the coaches, because coaches only could do so much. It's just they on the sideline in the court, but we really in the fight in the game. So that was the biggest thing. Like just growing up, like I always had like that kind of like just by showing like how I play, just aggressiveness. So people always thought like I was like kind of a leader, but it was like I don't like leading like with people behind me. I like when everybody next to me, and then we all just going like, you feel me? That's kind of a thing I had paid attention to. So that was one of the things I've been doing this great year. Just keep them up as high as like nobody putting that much confidence that I feel like I have in my team.
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing.
I love that. Well, I'll tell you what, Jermaine, for a guy that doesn't like talking, you did a great job talking today.
Yeah, for sure.
So good work. See, that's a veteran right there, though, right? Like you're a veteran saying, you know what, we'll do the first interview. You set the bar high for everybody else the rest of the year, Jermaine.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
What do you guys want? What do you guys need to work on the rest of the week? What's going to take to be successful the rest of the season for you?
Of course, we getting our players, the people that was out, kind of back, just flowing with the floor. And I feel like we just have to be better defensively. I feel like we can score with the best of them in the country. I feel like we have the players to do that, the ability to do that. We just have to really trust each other on defense and really know that we have each other back on the defensive end. Because I feel like as an offense, like the last game we just played, we shared the ball really well.
Yeah.
I feel like we have a lot of room to get better. Like every day that was the thing, just coming in every day with that right mindset, just getting better. Like I know it doesn't feel like we've been the underdog since the season started. So that was our thing, like have a chip on our shoulder, knowing that the success we have, and just stay our head down and keep working and just know what got us to this point.
Great stuff. Germaine Couisnard, thanks for being here, man.
All right, David.
Appreciate it. Quick time out. When we come back on the women's side, Grace VanSlooten. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FuboTV.com.
Introducing Lem and Lime for Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Hey.
Hello. What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine-free.
One of you must be a little more important than the other.
We're both important.
So we could just as easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
That doesn't sound right. I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be hop-hip? Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota in the Country Financial Studio. First show of the year, we went a little longer with Coach Altman and Coach Graves, so we won't get to all of Chris's great conversation with Grace VanSlooten today. However, it will be available on all of the Oregon women's basketball social media channels. And for those of you tuning in across the Oregon Sports Network, we will have it for you on Duck Insider this week as well. We just went, to be honest with you, one, the broadcaster did math wrong, me, and two, we actually went good conversation length with both Coach Altman and Coach Graves. Hear a little bit, though, of Chris's conversation with Grace VanSlooten this week.
Grace, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Coming off the trip to Los Angeles, the games against UCLA and USC, two top 10 teams in the country, you had a big-time game leading the team in scoring Sunday with 18 points. What allowed you to have so much success in that game?
I think just being aggressive, and, Filipina Che, she started off strong. Put a lot of focus on her, and that allowed me to, get to the rim and get my buckets.
So as a team, those were a couple tough games. UCLA, you didn't have your leading scorer in the backcourt, Chance Gray. USC, you fought to the end.
Right.
How do you think the team can learn from these experiences and grow from it moving forward?
Yeah, I think playing these games right off the road, the first 3 games of conference were tough. But I think every game got better, and I think we're going to learn. We're going to, obviously go through experiences that we don't know. We lost, that grad student experience from Peyton Scott. She was a leader, everything like that. So we're learning, and, we're going to take it game by game and just watch the film, find out what we can do better, and just take baby steps.
Talking with players and with Kelly Graves this year, it seems like the team, he's so proud of how hard everybody's played. Your record is not where you want it to be right now, sitting at 9-7, but it just seems like the tenacity and the passion has gotten better game to game. Where do you think that comes from?
I think it just comes from everybody wanting to be great. We all want to be good. We want to win. We're a really tight team on and off the court, so I think it's just that playing for each other. We want to hustle, we want to play hard, and we want to play scrappy.
How have you seen the team improve offensively, especially this year? USC, you had that 21-point third quarter. You climb back. How have you seen the offense take steps forward this year?
I think we're slowing down. I think we started off kind of, hectic and wanting to get quick shots and maybe not taking some great shots. So we're learning how to, play more into the shot clock. Great shots, not good shots, everything like that. Just people finding their footing in the offense.
That's Grace VanSlooten talking with Chris Clayton. They talked for a couple more minutes, and we'll have it for you in its entirety on Duck Insider. Dana Altman, Kelly Graves, Jermaine Couisnard, Grace VanSlooten on the first episode of Tip-Off Tuesday. We'll be back every Tuesday with our basketball coaches show over the course of the entire season. And I look forward to talking with a number of student-athletes here in the Country Financial Studio. Chris will be kind enough to come down and be with us for Tip-Off Tuesday. He'll record interviews. We're planning on Mondays. Chris Clayton on the call for Oregon women's basketball will be doing all of those interviews. I'm Joey Mack. My thanks to Scott Phillips here in the Country Financial Studio, and Ashley Gentry back in the OSN studio. Homestand for both teams this weekend. Unique. On Friday, 7 o'clock, Oregon women's basketball against Arizona State. And on Saturday, 5 o'clock, Oregon men's basketball against Cal. Both at Matthew Knight Arena. We'll see you there.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself.